What is up, the negative amount of people who are interested in another episode today of Manic Movie Mondays? We also, the even less people of the negative people who are watching today, who are interested in Russian anti-war films. I don't know. I've been enjoying some anti-war films just generally. I've given Full Metal Jacket 2 rewatches this year, just cause it's kind of that good, you know. I just love that movie a lot. I've more recently just had another rewatch of Come and See, and so that's why we will be discussing it today. I kept going back and forth on the order I wanted to do these movies in. So we're just going to end it with Come and See, even though I was kind of having some more ideas for a different pick. But we will just end it with Come and See today. But we'll be going over 3 films, the 3 films in the thumbnail you may have noticed, which will be, firstly, Ivan's Childhood, there's another title for it. His name was Ivan, I think. I think is the other title it goes by. The Ascent, and Come and See, as I already mentioned. We will start out with Ivan's Childhood. This is the movie I have just more recently watched, so it, I guess, is the most fresh in my mind. You would think it probably is. But then again, as we'll get into the discussion with the next 2 films, they're pretty unforgettable. They're pretty, universally acclaimed experiences for films. It's not like I'm going over films that are underappreciated or anything right now. This isn't like some hidden gems episode. No, I'm going over some more known of the Criterion kind of scene films for Russian. My bad. I keep saying Russian too. I mean Soviet. We're going over Soviet war films today. My apologies. Shout out all the Russian viewers who are surely flaming me in the comments because I'm calling them Soviet. Or Russian or whatever. I'm going to use Soviet because that was the time period for when these were made. That was the regime. Otherwise, I honestly kind of don't care, and I may or may not just gotta, like I did at the beginning, go back and forth between which and which. Starting out, though, with Ivan's Childhood, I love some older films. I love some older movies. I think you can get a more than just a larger appreciation for a visual language, but in how it's in a lot of ways deliberately even changed for the audience, for whatever. And so when you then go into more of an artsy-fartsy kind of movie, a film that isn't from more of a Hollywood production system or just a B-movie production house that's trying to actually make a large amount of profit. Obviously coming out of the Soviet system, it's a little different, but either way, those troubles go into making films no matter what. It's universal in how impossibly hard it is to make movies, especially a good one, really. So to be able to make something so powerful, obviously, just starting out, that's just impressive to me. Especially being so old, it's such a it's a thing that is just constantly reiterated with from this film. This is a Tarkovsky film as well. We're starting off with a Tarkovsky movie, and what I have to say about every Tarkovsky film I've seen, I've not seen all of them, or really probably even that many, if I'm being honest. I've seen Stalker, and I do plan on seeing some other Tarkovsky films in due time. But they are incredibly strong with their visual language. They're incredibly often simple, but very, very rich and deep. It's not like Ready Player One, basically, is what I'm saying. They're stupid simple, Not just because, like, and not that the ideas that they're going over are stupid, but that they are literally any stupid idiot can actually gain, like, the visual medium and what's being told to them through it. Just no matter what. It's just that simple, and it's then told in such a way that is, like, not to, like, be an insult that it's simple, but it's so strong, being so simple. It's, those strong visuals are just part of what the medium really is supposed to be. Like, not, beyond being a pretentious douchebag about it, but that is film. That is what the medium is supposed to be about, is how you are telling your stories through that visual medium. You can have the greatest script ever, but if you don't have something someone wants to see that also, goes with that script, why is anyone going to watch? It's all of the elements coming together. That is actually filmmaking and making a great film, is all of the elements coming together. There can be great movies that are lacking in an element or another, but at the end of the day, it is how you are just straight using the vision of the camera to tell this story, because that's the perspective. That is innately giving a perspective that it will always be the same, too. Like, that's the difference between, like, an art of movies to, like, more of a video games, is that video games are an interactive experience. They can absolutely change every time. They can be a completely different one from when the first time you did it to the next one. Compared to a movie, inherently has to be the same. It's never, ever, 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 ever going to change. The movie you've watched is always going to be the same when you watch. But you can be different. How you engage with it can be different. And that is the beauty of it, is how it can genuinely transform your perspective through how you empathize and put yourself in the camera's point of view, and then what you see through that. It's fascinating to me. You are your own lens. You have your own eyes, and that is just magical to me. That is the beauty of filmmaking, and this is one of those just kind of classic kind of films to me. Like, it just embodies so much of, like, a classical film, and how those are techniques that, or the techniques that we have today that are maybe more effective or not, have been brought from these older days. That nothing comes from just fucking whatever, from nothing at all. Tarantino isn't a fascinating and great director because he's just thought of all these great ideas. No, the best steal and get away with it. And they steal well at the end of the day. They steal inside their own language. They're not just completely stealing. I'm trying to think of the word, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there is genuine changing of the phrasing through the visual medium or language, or through how your dialogue is more interpreted in a certain way, how it goes into a different theme, whatever. It's not just doing the same thing. And that's what I really like about this movie. I have not seen a film like this. It's telling a simple story, but I've never seen it in this kind of way. It's beautiful. There are some shots in this film that are just fucking jaw-dropping. Like, legitimately. Just jaw-dropping and beautiful, and that this was the idea they had, and they made sure they went and got it. And that some of the shots in this film are just fucking magical. In a film that is then otherwise kind of dark and depressing, there is just so much magic and wonder, as if, like, in ways you are actually seeing this through the childhood's eyes of, like, you're seeing the horrible decay around you and the horror that is the real world, but then inside of that there is still those old memories you're holding on to of this of Ivan and his mother, and all stuff like that, and just like how different his viewing of the world is when he's in his, like, dreams and asleep, and just basically in a way also not alive. And that, I think, really comes together at the end of the movie. The movie is really, really, really good at more than just putting you in that perspective of the child. it then goes to say that an important part of that and being a child is time and your perspective of time. And the film then uses its own ways of closing up kind of the last act of the film, almost an epilogue in a way, of going going through these motions so quickly to better show off that like this is a different kind of perception of time now. The world is just moving faster now. Not because it like is moving faster, but because of how you perceive it. And how that's being perceived is the war's over. There's nothing to be hunkered down in a bunker and just praying and hoping for you get a couple more days, because no, it's over. And now the days are just going to keep going and going and going and adding, and that's a perfect way to then recontextualize that and bring it together within the childhood aspect of being a kid and that level of the shift in how time changes and how you perceive it as a youngin. It's stuff like that is just so deep and rich in this movie. I'm a scene guy. There's some just amazing scenes in this film that they're just great. They're just so well done. There is a major child actor in the film, and to me, they do an absolutely fantastic job. It's I believe they say they're like 12 or something, that Ivan's like a 12-year-old boy or something. He looks younger than that at the end of the day. He looks much younger, like 10, maybe 9. Okay. The plot is saying it's 12. But he looks younger, and a big part of that too is like malnourishment. They're a kid that is not eating enough. They're just doing what they can in a lot of ways to survive, but then help their country the best they can. They've begun to see themselves as grown up now because they've just had to, when really they're not, and so they're very much ready to just run away from like whatever opportunities being given to them. They see not being able to help on the front, and instead being sent to a military school as being seen as useless, when really actually it is a great opportunity for this kid. And it's not only saving them from like possibly dying and really end up dying, sorry to spoil, but they do. You're most likely watching this if you have seen these movies, but shocker, the boy dies. And it just shows that there are these opportunities, that they wanted to be in this position at the end of the day, that that is part kind of becoming a kid and growing up in a way is realizing your place in the world, but also in his context of not having anything else to go to, and not wanting to be seen as like useless like he's seen a lot of other people. He sees himself as a grown up when really he's not, and so like that being sent to military school is more than just saving him and being this opportunity because he's been useful and helpful. It is saying that you can actually have a better life after. You have gone through so much, but through the state and blah 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 and your actions and everything and how you've been noticed, you can succeed and you can be something more. But it's a child then holding on to this trauma and kind of knowing in ways that like that is all they have of their family, that they exist inside this state that's at war, and inside that they have essentially, I don't just want to be they have no rights, haha, communism, but like they, in that existence of you completely have given yourself to the war and to the state, and to Ivan, that's like important. That is important to them. Compared to then what we'll see of many of the other soldiers in this movie, of sure the war is important, but we all would want to be doing other things. Like it is life and death, but you don't want to be the life and death. You don't want to be the person who dies. And it's so many things like that all weave together so perfectly in this movie that I had such a great time. It's really good. However, I would not call it the best movie I've seen of all these pictures. This is like, for anybody kind of like a 10-ish out of 10. Me, it's somewhere between a 9 and a 10. I think there is some moments that are maybe a little lacking, and I'm happy it's not crazy long. It's a brisk 95 minutes, and that's fantastic because it then helps with that perspective kind of thing with time. It makes it you really really feel when that shift and like it's the movie's moving faster. You really feel it. You are aware of it, and the movie's aware that you're aware of it. It's a smart film. I love a smart film like this. And otherwise, I mean, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. That's kind of all I think I got to say. All right, and to the next one, we'll be talking about The Ascent. Couldn't kind of find a better poster. Beautiful. Criterion one was not loading. So we'll be using this proper Soviet Russian one. So I really, 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 really loved this movie. My review on it just says, "Wow, speechless," and that's true. I'm honestly at a loss for words. At least when I first finished it. It's genuinely just that fantastic. It's it's grim and depressing, sure, at points, and sad, but it's also it's cutthroat. It's straight to the point. In terms of how I would compare it to the movie we're going to go over next, like Come and See. Come and See is deliberately emotional and romantic and romanticizing, and even that is in some ways sort of a part of Ivan's childhood. Not as much. It's kind of how Tarkovsky in his eye just inherently kind of sees the medium, and that obviously in a way comes out of Come and See too, but it's much more deliberate in Come and See. It's it's really it's horrifyingly beautiful in that way. Come and See. Compared to The Ascent, it's also a bit horrifying, but it's just much more grim and sad. But inside of that is just so many good like interpersonal dynamics going on, and how the decisions and stuff going on in terms of the plot and what you're watching is much more beyond than just like characters. It is supposed to represent just so many more general people and how all people got swung up into this Eastern conflict, and I mean especially in terms of just the life loss. It's insane. It really is just insane, the sheer amount of people murdered and killed in a war. But it's I feel like the humility of it is so much more present right here in this movie. This movie has sometimes some more larger fantastical elements in it, sure, but otherwise keeps itself very, very grounded. And to me, it's intentional for the way of keeping you hooked and really, really like you're at a chess lengths between the characters you're following. The two main leads that we have, I cannot remember their names ever, but it's two Soviet partisans. They are on a search for food because their entire camp's starving as shit, and they originally go to a farm, and it's like a lamb or some shit. They get something. They end up being able to get a lamb, I believe, from the farmer. He's willing to work with them a little bit. Sadly, to his own demise. Obviously he's just looking out for himself. He does not want to get himself involved with the partisans, nor any more involved with the Nazis who were shaking him down as well. And it cost him his life in the end. And beyond that, then they move to a family, a mother with her children, and they as well kind of just force their way into their lives. A lot of this in ways like representing just the war itself and how it just broke through into the lives of these people. To me, however, this film also does the absolute best at it's brought up in Ivan's Childhood too. I'll reiterate it back into Ivan's Childhood, but it goes into the propaganda and idealistic mindset of the top down from the German Reich into invading Russia, and how it is based in their ideology completely, not based in actual tactics and logistics. It is legitimately from Hitler. His words of mouth is kicking down the rotten door of Russia. It'll all the rest of the house will crumble once you kick in the rotten door of Russia. And to Hitler, that was from so many things of viewing how the revolution in Russia went down, to later with how he just generally felt about the communists and Stalin, and having strong feelings and idealistic, his own idealistic nature impacting his strong feelings to just kind of make a fire, just fuming fires that seep all the way into then the generals and everything of how the whole army operated. And to me, this film is the best at showing that myth, at showing how it is just this silly myth. But it's in how it visually tells you that. I think Ivan's Childhood also brings in that stuff too, but it's more directly telling you. It's more being as gentle as a hammer with getting that ideal and theme across to you, or about how that idealism and everything impacting that for that theme, because it goes into how, in Ivan's Childhood, how the furnace or the chimney and everything, that will never go. They can burn down all the houses, but the chimneys will stay. And to me, that completely was like a really strong way at showing it, and obviously kind of kept reiterating on it and going into more as also the war ended. But it's great at showing how that is perception. That is the perception of Russia, and it is just a bunch of wooden shacks with some chimneys, but it's they're seen as a weak people. It was not seen that they were a strong people because that they put through this level of hardship. They were seen as bumbling lesser people who deserved to basically be enslaved, is the entire mindset of the Germans. And to me, in Ivan's Childhood and Come and See, it's much more from the level of the death aspect, and how there are just people that should be called. That is how that ideology bakes into a person, is then they are just lesser. They are, once you are lesser than human, you're just cattle. You can be carted off, and you might as well just be dead in a certain extent to these people, unless you are absolutely giving them like completely amazing free labor. You might as well just be dead, because to them you are tainting what could be the next race's gene pool and everything like that. You're people who just don't deserve to be here. And I feel, at least in the Ascent case, really shifting it into just like this few characters, this one partisan group of two guys, it really gets to be personal, and just how easy it is for anybody to, no matter what they would think their values are, to abandon them, to be scared and helpless and willing to do whatever to save your own ass. And I think all that stuff is really well executed. I also really dig a movie that has a title that is rather unclear to like someone who's going into the movie. You kind of are like, The Ascent. Okay, well, you start thinking about it a little bit, and you're thinking, well, was the title of this, blah, blah, blah. Until then you get to that climax, you get to that third act, and it's clear. It's so unmistakably clear what the Ascent is supposed to represent. And with that, then, that means that theme and everything talked about that can flourish. It can actually expand greater and be about some more other stuff. But then, it's because it's so defined and clear as to what the title really means that it's fantastic. That it's surprising. I just love a little title like that. That just kind of is like it's a little intriguing, even if it isn't so clear. It's also not like trying to hide it from you though either, and like try to make you overthink yourself to try and figure it out. But yeah, I personally really I loved this film. Really, I just really did. It's longer than Ivan's Childhood. It's more coming around 2 hours, but it is just fantastic. It's so perfectly fly on the wall. That's an overused term, but it really is, because that's really what I'm trying to get at with Come and See being much more deliberately beautiful and deliberately romantic and romanticizing. This movie is not. It is grim, fly on the wall, and hope still exists though. Hope persists. And I love that. Like, that is the thing. It does not, even though it ends on a downer and that there's some stuff that's, like, horrifying and gripping as this movie ends and winds down, you just can't stop looking. And Come and See is horrifying and as well, beautifully shot to the point of, like, oh, I can't stop looking. But it's then also even about some darker elements that I can understand somebody just being completely pushed away. Compared to this is just everything. It's not overdoing it. It's a contemporary to Star Wars that came out in 1977. I love little stuff like that. And it blew me away. It really did. This is a movie that I went into like, oh, okay, we'll see. The Ascent. We're doing this little theme of Soviet anti-war films, and it just completely blew me away. I cannot recommend this movie more than whatever I'm saying now and just saying to you, go see it. If you have any interest in some anti-war material or just generally like some Soviet films and you have not gotten your chance to watch The Ascent, please go watch it. It's fucking amazing. Alright, now past that we have Come and See. To end this discussion, we have maybe the most iconic of some anti-war films and just Soviet war films in general. It is regarded from around the world. From here on, blah blah blah. You know, everyone's had something to say about this movie, basically. And there's really nothing I disagree with, if I'm being perfectly clear. It's a movie you cannot unsee, is I think some of the better ways to describe it. I watched it way too young. I've watched a lot of movies way too young, though. But I think a movie like this, way too young, is one that... this is one that's more terrifying than you watching any kind of terrifying-ish horror film. Terrifier isn't going to actually, like, make you unable to sleep at night. If as, like, a teen, younger, almost child person really growing up and finally learning how the world actually works. Like in Ivan's Childhood Ages Range case. I was completely driven to watch these films like this. I wanted to see what is so well regarded and raved on about, and as well just to see the experience in itself. Like when something is so regarded like this, and then I use some words like it's you can't unwatch it. That's big. That's big phrasing. That's me really, really recommending it through kind of different words other than just saying you gotta watch it. To me, yeah, you gotta watch it, but take your time. If you don't feel you're ready for it, just don't. Because you will just feel icky. You will not... if you can't handle being like that, unable to function for a little bit, don't watch it. That's your prerogative. There's nothing forcing you really to actually watch something, okay? This isn't Clockwork Orange. Nothing's really, really, really forcing you. But if you are forcing yourself, just be prepared. For real, be prepared, because this movie is not going to pull any punches. This movie is the opposite of pulling punches. This movie is deliberately sucker punching you. Because it just gets a great thrill and grin on its face after. It's just that upset and fucking trying to shine such a mirror to the world that is unmistakably like horrific but also human. That is Come and See. I'm especially a scene guy. I've already brought it up. I'm a scene guy, and Come and See is structurally wise. It's like a David Lynch film in how it has its scenes structured and how important they all are, and how every single one is just so good at fueling the rest of the scenes, interacting with them, and just making the movie bigger overall. They're just so well executed. This is another instance. I would assume whoever is playing the lead of Floria is at least a little younger, probably more like 16, 17, 18 maybe when they were shooting this. Still a child actor in those senses, and they did a fantastic job. This is genuinely one of the bestest performances I've seen. I think it's hard to compare it with Ivan's Childhood because they're very, very different performances. I would even say Ivan's Childhood actually is a better given performance within the confines of that character and what they're performing. And it's just much harder to do a performance like this for Floria, and either way, it's done magnificently. It's just amazing. This this is also a longer one. This is over 2 hours. The way you follow along in this film, and just you already feel helpless as Floria at the beginning of this movie, and everything happening, and he is going through, and as you're just dragged along more and more, I think it does a really great job at in that way implanting you in the position of just anybody. Yeah, Floria is supposed to be a little bit of like, oh, anybody, but it's to me, Floria is much more a representation of a young country, a young nation still finding itself in their adolescence in a lot of ways. Because in that instance, Floria is ready to go to war. Floria is trying to find a gun so then they can be accepted by the partisans, get away from their mother, who is just going to end up basically being killed off by Germans. Doesn't want to stay and protect, but otherwise, what choice does Floria have? It's join the partisans or wait for death to come kicking your door down. And I think those are really, really strong ways of kind of commenting on growing up, and everything it does with it just does fantastic. It's so beautiful. It is so it would seem like I'm trying to have like some sneak diss with how I'm saying it's a movie that it's more romanticizing in a lot of ways with its cinematography. No, it's amazing cinematography. It's then just going for deliberately different angles and what it's trying to make the audience feel, and what you get out of it, and how. To me, like, well, why wouldn't you make it beautiful? It's a movie. You want it to be fucking beautiful. A movie is something that lasts forever, and whether or not it is about something that's horrifying and disgusting, it's beautiful in doing that. And as a movie, why wouldn't you try to do that? It's silly to me. It's silly to me to like then actually consider it as some like discredit, but it's because it's not. It is just how the movie functions, and it's so good while doing that. It is. I really think it genuinely might be my favorite last shot ever, just ever in any movie. The last shots that come with this movie after it gives you the haunting red text of how many villages were burned and massacred in Belarus. That final shot that is just the tracking cam following the soldiers on the march, sort of marching uphill, sort of in the sense echoing in a little bit ways the ascent, but just that march. To me, it symbolizes more beyond like the inevitability of World War II and that conflict, and just generally for like a young kind of nation seen in that perspective like that, but seen as young and weak. It's to me it's deliberately about World War III, because it's a movie made at the ending and thawing of the Cold War, the something with like World War III and apocalypse around that between the Cold War and East and West. It seemed as like an inevitability to a certain point. And to me, this film is agreeing that in ways, World War III and horror beyond this. This is horror that is of our imagination. Horror that we've experienced and we know that we've felt, that we've had scars of as people. World War III is beyond it. And to me, the end of this film is completely symbolizing that it's inevitable. That it is a guaranteed outcome. East and West, Cold War or not, it's a conflict that is going to happen, and we are just marching to the beat and marching to our drums as we head towards that inevitable conflict. And it's just going to be boys dying for it, more than, but it's that's just kind of a way of putting it. If you are kind of like a male and you kind of understand that that role you essentially play, that essential role you play in terms of war and your country and its protection. And so to me, yeah, it's a haunting last shot. It's just beautiful, and also just doing so little, yet symbolizing, as I was going over in detail there, so much. It can be so much beyond what I was just saying. But to me, like, that is like the starting off point of like where you dive in of what it's really getting at, and it's just so beautiful. I can understand disliking this movie in the context of you are pushed away, you are I'd hate to like put this in the same category as films that are kind of more shock films, more exploitation shock films. I think even though Salò isn't that, it's kind of gotten a reputation as that, when like really this and Salò, they're different. They are their own thing that are having those qualities though that are of more the shock. Really all that is just more representing the censorship in itself, like the innate ways that like censoring existence has just kind of become a part of film. And I hate that. I think film, it should be a very pure art form. Censorship should not be a thing at all, basically. And, that's how we'll get the best movies made. That's how we'll keep getting Come and See, and of all these amazing anti-war films we've had, that's how we'll keep getting more. I think that's pretty much all I gotta add. Go and see Come and See if you get the chance. In theaters too, if you get the opportunity. It's a fantastic looking movie that will, for real, you will just always be thinking about it. If you have seen it, there will just be points where it will come up into your mind, because it implants visuals that are just so unbreakable from your psyche. There's just movies like that just will always live with you. For me, it's something like Star Wars. Like, I could never forget any shot from Star Wars, But with this film, it's then equally as powerful in the subject matter and how it portrays and talks about it. It's just unlike anything else, really. It's fucking fantastic. Couldn't recommend it more. That's probably going to be it. That's going to be our second episode today for Manic Movie Mondays. We will get another Pokemon episode out next Monday. Maybe another special feature like this. That's not completely guaranteed, but guarantee a Pokemon episode next week. And hopefully y'all keep enjoying these. Yeah.